And the guy looks at me very inquisitively and goes, "Are you hiding something in the peanut butter?" And I look at him, I say, "No, do you want to try some?" He goes, "No, I don't like peanut butter." For every car person, at least I find, there's always a car that might not be the fastest that they own, the most expensive, the loudest, but it's something that's super special. And for me, that's my 1995 Miata. It's a car that I will never sell. And if anybody ever needs to do anything or go anywhere, take the Miata. Someone wants to learn how to drive manual, take the Miata. And there's some rules with driving the Miata. It has a new top on it because it sits outside, but regardless of the weather, snowing, raining, the top must be down when you drive this car. It could be acid raining and you have to have the top down. One particular evening I was out with my buddy and he was driving a BMW 535 and we were going along through the streets of Boston and it was drizzling when I took the car out and then it started to rain a lot more than I expected. So we go through an intersection, I accelerate away, he follows me, I come to the next stoplight and he's flashing me vigorously behind, he's behind me. And I glance in the mirrors and I set away from the light and I don't really see anything behind me because it's all dark. It's 2 in the morning at this time when we're out. And all of a sudden I see the lights of a state trooper car come out from behind my friend and pull right in behind me. Mind you, it's starting to rain a lot more now, so I'm getting soaked in the car. I pull over to the shoulder and the problem is with the Miata, it has a hot starting issue and the handbrake doesn't work. So this officer pulls me over on a hill. And I pull off to the side on the hill and I'm like waving at the cop saying, "I'm gonna roll back into you, my handbrake doesn't work and I can't shut off the car." So he yells over the loudspeaker, "Turn the wheel into the curb." So I sit the car on the curb and I wait for him to come up and tell me what I was doing wrong, which I honestly did not know at that time. He comes up to the window and sees me with a jacket on, just getting soaked in the car. And he kind of looks around at the car and goes, "Why are you driving with the top down?" I said, "Well, I mean, I paid for a convertible. I'm gonna use the convertible top at all times. It's a rule when driving this car." And he goes, "Okay, do you have your license, documents, paperwork?" And I said, "Yes, my license is in my left pocket and my registration's in the glove box. I'm gonna use my right hand to reach to grab my license. Is that okay?" So he says, "Okay." I hand him the license. And my license photo, it's me like this. So he takes the license, looks at it, and throws it back at me and says, "Give me your real license," as if it was a fake ID. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is my real license. Like, it's not a fake license." So he looks at that, holds it for a second, and says, "Where's your registration?" I said, "It's in the glove box. Is it okay to reach for it?" So I grab the registration and hand it to him. And I have to explain that it's on a Pennsylvania tag and I'm in Massachusetts because the car is registered to my school address. So he looks at everything and is very confused why this kid is out driving late at night with the top down in this little red car. He takes all my information and says, "Listen, you're being cited for reckless operation and speeding, and also your exhaust is too loud." And I said, "Sir, with all due respect, I know that you're out here doing your job, but this car is quite slow and it's very difficult to do reckless things in it. I just accelerated away from the light. I didn't think that I was operating dangerously. That was certainly not my intention. Would not want to put anybody in danger. And it is 2 in the morning, so there is nobody out." So he takes my information and goes back to his cruiser. And at this point, I still have the top down. I'm still getting soaked in the car. Another officer arrives. He pulls in behind the first cop and steps out and comes to my car. And the only thing that I had besides myself in the car was a full jar of peanut butter because I had just come back from the gym and that's what I normally eat after the gym. So the other officer comes up and goes, "Why do you have a full jar of peanut butter in your car?" And I said, I just come back from the gym and normally I have this after, it's got good polyunsaturated fats. It's good for after the gym, high protein. And the guy looks at me very inquisitively and goes, "Are you hiding something in the peanut butter?" And I look at him, I say, "No, do you want to try some?" He goes, "No, I don't like peanut butter." And he looks around the car a little bit more. And another piece of this is the Miata is red with a tan interior. And my friends, they stuck Ferrari badges all over it. So it's got a Ferrari crest in the front, the shields on the side, and the Ferrari in the above the trunk. So he goes, "What year Ferrari is this?" And I go, "It's actually not a Ferrari." it's a Mazda. And he goes, well, that's disappointing. He looks around at the car a little bit more and says, okay, well, good luck. Goes to walk back to the car, and I said, hey, officer, do you mind helping me with the roof? It's a 2-person job, and I'm getting soaked here. And it's not like misting raining, it's like fully raining. He helps me with he sits in the car with me and latches the roof, to which I thank him for, and gets back in his car and drives away. So the first officer is still sitting in his car, and I'm waiting for him to come back. Unfortunately, at this time, this was in the depths of the pandemic, and I had a violation previously when I was driving our BMW M2 safety car that has the lights and sirens and everything on it. And I received a violation in that car for going a little bit too quickly, and one of the stipulations of the court to get the ticket removed was to not get any violations for 1 year. I was about to receive another violation if this officer comes back with a ticket. So I'm really nervous at this point, and I call my attorney. It's 2 in the morning. I call up Anthony, and he doesn't pick up the first time, but I call him again, and he picks up. He says, Austin, it's 2 in the morning. What do you need? And I said, Anthony, I'm sorry. I'm on the side of the road. I'm stuck in the Miata, and I've just been pulled over by a state trooper. I think I'm about to receive a really bad ticket. Do you have any suggestions? So he goes, hang on, give me a second. And he tries to call the state police chief in that area, so hopefully we can work something out at the side of the road rather than having to call off the record and have them help me with the ticket. So he calls me back about 5 minutes later and says, hey man, I can't get in contact with anybody. We're just gonna have to deal with this on Monday, because it was a Saturday at that time. We're just gonna have to deal with this on Monday when you have the ticket in your hand. So I'm real nervous at this point, because if I receive another violation, I'm gonna lose my license. And as somebody who's in the car business, that's a big problem. I'm still on the phone with him, and I hear the door clunk from the officer getting out of the car. So I said, Anthony, hang on, the cop's coming back. So I had thought that I ended the phone call with Anthony. I put the phone on the seat. Officer comes back to the car. He says, listen, Austin, this is a very interesting pullover situation. I'm sorry that you had to get soaked on the side of the road while I wrote you the citation, but I am citing you for not the reckless driving and the speeding, but I am citing you for the loud exhaust. And I said, officer, I'm very thankful for your leniency, but this is really gonna put me in a tough spot. And he says, why is that? And I said, well, the first thing is I have a stipulation from the court from another violation that I received, that if I receive another violation, I'm gonna lose my license, and my business is in cars. I have a suite of employees that I need to make sure that I take care of. And if I lose my license, I can't work, I can't pay them, they're gonna lose all their benefits, and I can't let my team down like that. And he says, well, I'm sorry that that's the situation, but this car is too loud, and you know, you were driving a little bit unsafely. And I said, sir, I understand that. It is 2 in the morning. I'm just out, you know, having a good time with one of my buddies. And I explained to him about the exhaust, because that Miata, we made a full exhaust that has valves in it for Valvetronic. And I was explaining to him, listen, I was driving with the valves opened. I'll drive away now with the valves closed. And I showed him, and he was actually like, that's pretty cool. Can you show me how it works? So I flicked the control and I'm opening and closing the valves. He thinks that's the coolest thing out there, which I was very thankful to see that he was interested in that. After showing him that, I said, listen, is there anything you can do? What would you do if you were in my position? So he had since handed me the ticket that says excessive noise violation, and it had a fine of maybe $100. I'm looking at the ticket and I say, what would you do if you were in my position? And this is something that I've never seen happen before. I've never even heard of this happening. The officer takes the ticket back, folds it up in his hand, and says, Austin, we're not gonna worry about this tonight. I appreciate you being honest, but don't drive like this anymore. Have a nice day. Walks back to his cruiser. So I'm sitting there in the car like this. I am just freaking out, because this has gone way too well for the situation. I thought I was gonna come out of this. I thought I was gonna get a ticket and it'd be a big problem, but I've just avoided that greatly. So I go to drive away. I grab my phone. Anthony, my attorney, is still on the phone. And I pick up the phone and I say, did you get that? And he goes, you gotta be the luckiest son of a bitch I ever knew. Click, hangs up the phone. That just goes to show that if you're nice, calm, and respectful, these guys have no idea who they're approaching. And if you can make their lives as easy as possible, be friendly, try to be funny, keep them talking, you might just save yourself from getting out of quite a bad ticket.
Premier Financial Services has been a sponsor of VINwiki for the last 4 years, and we can't thank them enough for their support, and we love them for that, but also because their Simple Lease truly is a tremendous product in the world of exotic car financing. They allow you to minimize your payment, minimize your down payment, take all the tax advantages that are available for a lease, while still giving you the ability to move in and out of cars and accumulate equity. So they structure it in a very unique way that's hugely advantageous, gives you a lot more buying power, and their customer service is absolutely incredible. So we love Mitch and their team for their continued support of the channel. We thank them for that, but please visit them at the link in the description below and find out how easy it is to buy your dream car through Premier Financial Services.